All right, so I want to go over something with you, and it has to do with the contract. One of the reasons that Police Chief Ramie was suspended without pay, and then, of course, he resigned, took early retirement soon after that. But I want to share with you one of the main reasons, and it was an illegal contract that he signed with Sheriff Tommy Ford directly. And I want to draw a correlation and remind you of something that happened. It was a big deal in 2020. And I want to make some comparisons and see what you think. I'm going to show you WMBB's news story. We're going to watch what happened at yesterday's Lynn Haven commission meeting about this illegal contract between the city of Lynn Haven for $6,000 a month. It was close to 70 grand a year, signed by the police chief who had no authority to do it. But now everybody acts like it's no big deal. But it is a big deal. And I'm going to show you why. First, let me thank the sponsors and we'll get right to it.
You want to look good, you want to feel good. Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
Strong, effective leadership. 3 words that could mean the difference between prison and your freedom. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. So here's what the internal report from the Fakakta lawyer showed. One of the things that Chief Ramie did was he signed a contract. He really, it's like steering a contract with who else but Sheriff Tommy Ford himself. This was an illegal contract. And Sheriff Ford knew it was an illegal contract. How could he not know? He thought his fishing buddy friend, Chief Ricky Ramie, had the authority to do a $6,000 per month, nearly $70,000 annual contract. He has arrested people for that. Who? Well, how about former Bay County Commissioner Keith Baker? That is what Keith Baker was essentially arrested and removed from the county as a county commissioner in July of 2020. It was for steering a contract, official misconduct. He didn't sign the contract, and it was when he was like public works director or something with Panama City. It was a year prior, before he was a county commissioner. I'll say it. I hate saying it because I'm scared to say it, but that was 2020, the year that Sheriff Tommy Ford was removing people and installing his own people. Removed Mayor Margo Anderson in a joint investigation with the FBI and framed her on all the counts. And then went after, Keith Baker. That was in July of 2020. I believe that was July of 2020. For steering a contract. Now, let me just show you what Keith Baker did when he was with the Panama City Commission. They couldn't spend more than $15,000 without bringing it to the board. When I say they, I mean the city manager. But the department heads, and Keith Baker was a department head, they could make recommendations, but ultimately only the city manager could sign a contract that was less than $15,000. but they arrested Keith Baker for steering a contract. And then they installed Sheriff Ford's guy. I know this. I have personal knowledge of it. Election interference. And they installed Doug Moore as county commissioner. Yeah, I know. He had to be voted in. I get it. More on that later. But what Keith Baker did was steered a contract to Mickey White for $14,800, and he was arrested for it. You see that? Keith Baker was to Mickey White what Ricky Ramie was to Sheriff Tommy Ford. If you look at this graph, on the left side, you see Commissioner Baker. And on the right side, you see Police Chief Ramie. You tell me which is worse. Keith Baker steering a contract that he did not sign to Mickey White for $14,800 that violated city procurement rules, official misconduct, misuse of position, or the police chief steering a contract to the sheriff who signed it himself for 5 times the amount, that violated the city charter and city purchasing policy. The outcome, of course, nobody got in any trouble, because I've got a feeling this is what they do all the time. Official misconduct, misuse of position by the sheriff himself. You've got Ford the enforcer on the left and Ford the violator on the right. Look at the bottom, 2020. Sheriff Ford arrested Commissioner Baker for steering a $14,000 contract. But in 2024, Ford signed an illegal contract with Police Chief Ricky Ramie for $6,000 a month, $68,000 annually. For, well, let's take a look at how WMBB explains it. This blows my mind. But they've got cover. Watch how WMBB explains it. Let's go right to that. All right, hold on. There we go. My little controls are a little bit different today. Must be an update. All right, here we go. This is WMBB's story yesterday. Let's take a listen.
Moving forward with software agreement, despite questions over how it was first signed, commissioners approved a deal with the Bay County Sheriff's Office to use their law enforcement software, costing about $6,000 a month. Now, the issue is the original agreement was signed by former Police Chief Ricky Ramie without proper authority. Municipal directors can only approve purchases up to 30.
WMBB's leaving a little bit out, aren't they? Signed by Chief Ramie and Sheriff Tommy Ford himself.
$1,000.
So that was just cleaning up a contract that's been existing for a long.
Now, this is the interim city manager, Chris Lightfoot, known affectionately here on the show as Chief Lightfoot. He says just cleaning it up. Just cleaning up an old contract is all. And WMBB says, that was their headline, it's cleaning it up. That's all.
Cleaning up a contract that's been existing for a long time.
Since 2024, Chris. Been existing for a long time. Look how easy they just wax over that. What he's saying is there's been an illegal contract for a long time.
The sheriff's office is its own entity, so they can sign contracts directly, whereas the city of Lynn Haven, the city signs the contracts. The city is the entity, not the municipal police department.
Which means what, Chris? The contract was illegal.
Despite concerns, the commission voted to approve the software update. Attorneys for former city manager Vicki Gaynor were also in attendance.
All right. Do you want to see this? Okay, so just so you know, well, I didn't plan to talk about this, but so now every meeting, former city manager Vicki Gaynor is in the gallery, and she's got two attorneys who go up there and scare the ever living out of the commission. The commission, which pretended for how long that they wanted to listen to city manager Gaynor, listen to city attorney Amy Whiteout Myers, because they didn't want to put themselves in liability of a lawsuit. Now they're in even more. All the stuff they did before, pretending and lying that they were being extra careful to not put taxpayers on the hook. Well, actually, they were lying, and now you're on the hook even more when you're not paying for fake contracts.
State's meeting raising concerns about how the city handled the internal investigation of Ramie. They pointed to Ramie's 42-page report dealing with alleged violations. The attorneys argued the lack of similar documentation and investigations within Gaynor's case. They said it highlights what they say is ongoing discrimination, a key claim in her legal battle with the city.
I mean, it's an impressive investigation. You've had a chance to look. And so I have this on the one hand for how the city investigated the case against Chief Ramie. And here I have in my hand nothing.
I want to tell you a quick story about Alvin Peters. Alvin Peters and I, we get along just fine. We disagree politically, right? He's a bit of a lefty. And, well, I'll save the story about the college speeches, but I'll tell you this one. One time when Obamacare was being debated, I had a big radio show. Do you remember? And you say, had Bernie, ha ha. So, so I would have debates with whoever, big smart lawyers like Alvin Peters, who was much smarter than I am. And we had two issues we were debating. One of them was Obamacare, and the other one was climate change. And this is how it went with Obamacare. He said, Bernie, nobody should go broke because they got sick. Nobody should go broke over doctor bills. And I said, oh, and he said we could save healthcare in America if we put a cap of $400,000 per year. That's the most any doctor, even surgeons, even specialists could make. He wanted to cap doctors at $400,000, and then nobody would go broke if they got an illness. And I said, Alvin, this was on the radio. It was great. I said, Alvin, should anybody go broke over a lawsuit? And I said, should we cap lawyers at $400,000 so nobody goes broke over a lawsuit? And what's he going to say? Here's what he said. He said, Bernie, I think that would be government overreach. And everybody had a good laugh. Here's the second thing. I think it was the same day, but we also debated climate change. And he was telling me how, this is back in like 2010, something like that, 2012, something like that. And he was talking about how, what an existential threat, how we had to act quickly because, man, the sea levels are rising. We don't have much time, see? And so we have to tax the hell out of everybody to save the world from global warming. That was the Alvin Peters. And I said, Alvin, so what you're saying is this was what Al Gore was always talking about. He said, I said, so what you're saying is the earth, it's too warm. The earth has a temperature, basically. And Alvin said, yes, Bernie, now you got it. And I said, okay, well, I know that the earth has a fever, is what I said. I said, my normal temperature is about 98.6. And so I know if I'm at 99.5 or 100, I've got a fever. Alvin, if the earth has a fever, what is the earth's normal temperature? Bernie, I don't know, who knows? We don't have much time. We got to save the planet from global warming. So Alvin and I go back a ways. And again, and by the way, he represented Hoot Crawford for the first part of the Hoot Crawford case that we covered. But I'm not saying this to, as everybody does today, to belittle Alvin Peters. I'm just doing it to share these stories with you. And Alvin, if you want to debate me again on these subjects, pal, we can do that. All right. Here we go. Let's hear him finish up.
This is the quality of the investigation that the city did against Ms. Gaynor.
Gaynor's attorney said last week they sent a letter to the city's attorney on the basis of discrimination claims. The city will have until October 25th before they file formal suits and administrative claims against the city.
All right. And that's because if you sue a local government in Florida, like Vicky Gaynor is going to sue the city of Lynn Haven, the municipality, you have to give a 6-month notice. And ask me how I know, because I had to give a 6-month notice to the sheriff's office in Panama City in our big lawsuit. So let's take a look, and I haven't seen this yet. Let's take a look at the Lynn Haven Commission meeting yesterday and what they did. Here we go. And what they did in updating this illegal. I've got to hear the conversations, and if there's public comments, they were just updating an illegal contract. That's all. Let's take a look. This is last night.
All right. Moving on to new business, number 15, discussion and possible approval of resolution 2025-10-477, approving a memorandum of agreement between the city and Bay County Sheriff's Office related to information technology support and use of the Bay County Sheriff's Office software in a monthly amount of $5,714.29. City Attorney?
I'm going to have Chris read it first.
Okay.
A resolution of the City of Lynn Haven, Florida, approving a memorandum.
By the way, I see everybody saying the volume is low. Is the volume low when I'm talking, or is the volume should be fine when I'm talking? I guess it was the news story that was low. And tell me if it's really low right now. Is it worth watching? Is it worth listening to? Do you want to see this, or is it too low? Here you go.
Of cooperation or agreement between the city and the Bay County Sheriff's Office related to information technology support and use of BCSO software in a monthly amount of $5,714.29.
Okay, so this the agreement tonight actually is brought to you for two reasons. One, as the staff finds purchases that have exceeded $35,000 and require commission approval, they're trying to act and make sure that.
Wait, what? You see how easy this stuff? Now, any reporter, any real reporter. Now, I'm not a reporter. All right. I'm a journalist, but I'm not a reporter. I'm not a straight news reporter. But any reporter with WMBB, WJHG, any anchor, anybody writing for the newspaper, right now they should be saying, what? There were more contracts that were signed that were illegal. She just said, we're finding all the that's a public record request. Any citizen journalist that wants to look into this, there's a public record request for any and all contracts that the city has found from this time to this time that exceeded the allowed amount, that were illegal. How many were there, Amy? My God. Look at them all sitting there. Oh, yeah, we found some, we're doing good work. We found a bunch of contracts, and all we're going to do is just tidy up a little bit, little housekeeping. Watch.
$5,714.29.
Okay, so this the agreement tonight actually is brought to you for two reasons. One, as the staff finds purchases that have exceeded $35,000 and require commission approval, they are trying to act and make sure that those purchases get in front of you. So when this one was brought to me, I rejected it because it was between the sheriff's office and the police department, and the police department itself is not sui juris. The agreement needed to be between the sheriff's office and the city. So I reached out to the sheriff's office to get the contract revised to reflect the city as the proper contracting party. In all other respects, the agreement.
Amy, what did he say about his role in official misconduct? What did he say about his role in signing an illegal contract that he arrests people for, that he puts people in jail for? Just ask Keith Baker. And Keith Baker didn't even sign a contract. And this one here in question is 5 times more annually.
Is the same as it was when it was first entered regarding the services and the price. It has not been otherwise changed, but staff request its approval because I understand it is a necessary and good thing. I would defer to Chris or the acting police chief to speak about what it does if there are specific questions.
So do you have anything to add to what it does?
The mayor is not there again. Is he out of country? Does anybody know if Mayor Nelson's out of the country?
So in essence, that's going to be basically our
So this is Infinger. This is the acting police chief Infinger.
operating system. There are programs on there that we use. So it's, we used to use Tyler, who I think also has Munis, which is what the city uses. So I guess kind of compare that to what police would do. It's the way we operate. It's our reporting forms that we use, stuff like that. So that's what this program is. We used to have Tyler years ago, but we went with the sheriff's office. There's a few benefits that I'm not sure what the cost difference is, but one of the big benefits of it is when we use the system that the sheriff's office has, Panama City's using it, Panama City Beach is using it. So we're all kind of interconnected. We can pull up reports and stuff like that, which is before would take a lot longer. We can do things instantaneously. The other benefit for us is with the sheriff's office program, if we make an arrest, we can load complaints and booking sheets directly to the jail. It goes to the cloud. We don't have to hand carry them down there like we used to. When CID, let's say they're investigating somebody who's already in jail, if they are investigating a case and wind up charging that person who's housed in the Bay County Jail, in the past, they would have to type out a complaint affidavit, print it, drive out to the jail, and hand deliver it, whereas now they can upload it to the cloud and make a phone call. So that's basically what the system does.
Awesome. Anybody?
I have a question to which I know the answer. Does that mean that since it's on the sheriff's system software, that there can be edits or deletions or any of that stuff made that cannot be later tracked? Can there be edits and changes in this software system that nobody, and I mean nobody except 2 people, could ever know? Yeah. More on that later too.
Have any questions?
I have a question. Is the contract, and you might not be able to answer this, but is the contract drawn just with the sheriff's department, or is the actual sheriff, Tommy Ford, can he break this contract if he should leave? I mean, does that start it all over, or do they continue on?
No, this is entity to entity, so it's with the Bay County Sheriff's Office. It's not specific to Tommy Ford.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, sir. All right. Do we have Mr. Lightfoot? Do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Okay.
Smart.
All right.
move.
Let's go ahead and. Is there a motion for this?
Motion to approve. Second.
All right. We've got a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any more discussion amongst the commission? I would like to say personally, and thank you for finding this item and bringing it to us. I think it goes a long way showing that staff is going in and trying to find things to bring before the commission. I appreciate it personally. And so I would like to say thank you for that. And so we'll move on to public commentary. You guys are right next to each other, so you're going to have to play like rock, paper, scissors or something. I'm just kidding. We'll go with ladies first.
Jerry Parker, Red Place. I have a question about information about the $68,000 contract that Chief Ramie had with Bay County Sheriff's Office? Does anybody have any information on that?
This is the contract.
This is it?
Yes, ma'am. We're cleaning up the contract because
It was
the contract
illegal.
was between the sheriff's office and the police department, whereas the police department is not its own entity like the sheriff's office. We, the city, have to have the contract.
So what the hell? We just ignore that it was illegal for all that time? Yes, Bernie, we do. And as City Attorney Amy Whiteout Myers said, oh, wait, there was a bunch of them. We're just cleaning them all up. Do you hear this? Remember what I'm telling you, because this is the kind of thing that Sheriff Tommy Ford arrested Keith Baker for. You can screenshot this because on the left side, you have Ford, the enforcer of steered contracts. And on the other side, you have Ford, the violator. You understand that this contract was twice. I mean, the commission had to approve this contract. Not even the city manager could approve this contract. There was a $35,000 limit. This had to go before the commission, but the commission acts like it's cool in the gang, no big deal. And what I'm saying is, how many contracts that were illegal that never went before the commission are there? The city attorney, Amy Whiteout Myers, just said moments ago that there are a bunch. And now that you've got Mayor Pro Tem Sam Peebles saying, I really appreciate staff bringing this to our attention because we want to be transparent. I mean, I was going to say they think we're stupid, but I don't think Sam Peebles understands. I'm not saying he's stupid, but I don't think he gets this. But I know Jamie Warwick gets it. Look at him. I know Judy Tinder gets it. Pat Perno, I'm not sure he even knows he's in a meeting. Chief Lightfoot, he's just a talking quick.
However, it was not approved by the
Right, so
commission
this item
prior.
is to
It was
clean-
done solely through Chief Ramie.
Right. So this item is to clean up that contract.
Clean it up is all. Just clean it up.
I have no problem with this technology. Being a procurement guy, I think piggybacking off of other entities' contracts is a great thing. You save a lot of money that way. Sounds like it's a benefit digitally too, to bring us into the year we're in, 2025. I would hate to see the gas bill driving crap back and forth to the jail. I do have questions though, because you guys are here to, I mean, effectively, you're not ratifying this because, as Amy pointed out, the other contract was between the police department and the city. So you're not even ratifying that contract.
Police department and the sheriff's
effectively,
office.
that one's been terminated and it's being replaced by this one. So you're actually doing it procedurally the correct way. But I do have a question for Chris. Is one thing I know we had,
Wait a minute. There was no contract to terminate. It was an invalid contract. It was illegal. It wasn't terminated. It didn't exist.
talked about was putting in place at a documentation level justifications for single sourcing contracts. Has that happened already? Has that been written up and filed for this contract action?
So that will be, well, I think what you're referring to is our revision of our procurement policy and the sole source that you and I talked about.
Yeah, well, it's actually in the current policy, and there should be a memo or something to justify why this isn't being competed for. Has that already taken place and been written?
I believe this one is, there's only one sheriff's office in Bay County, so.
Well, I mean, like he said, there's another.
That's a bullshit answer, Chris. I keep hearing what a great guy Chris Lightfoot is, but that's a bullshit answer. It's a snarky bullshit answer. We know there's only one sheriff's office, but are there more people who provide this service, Chris? That was snarky.
Other software. So you would basically, in that memo, you would say, hey, between these two softwares, we're going to sole source to this entity because XYZ reasons. Like that's the fundamental stuff the community needs to have in these actions to fight against fraud, waste, and abuse.
Which we just
to promote transparency. I applaud your hiring of the new procurement manager. He has a background similar to me. I think he'll take the city to the next level. So kudos to Chris for making that selection. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be wanting to see. That's the kind of stuff that I'll be asking to see when I look for files. So I guess just if we can make sure there's a memo in there explaining that for this purchase, I would appreciate that as a procurement professional. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't see your hand earlier.
Well, this does, Arlene Harrison. This does sound like a program that would be of great benefit to our law enforcement community. And my question is, after the next hurricane, are we going to be without communications like we were last time? Or was this going to be covered with this kind of cover? You know, after the last hurricane, nobody could talk to anybody. And so if we have another hurricane, they have some sort of backup system, I'm assuming.
So this is totally unrelated to that, but since Hurricane Michael, AT&T has came out with a cell service called FirstNet for governments, and our cell provider is through FirstNet, so all of our city cell phones are on that service. So fortunately, we haven't had to test it yet, but if we go through another Cat 5 hurricane, hopefully it all works well.
I was assuming it had been taken care of by now, but, and so this system would also be on that.
No, ma'am, it's a totally different system.
A new system. It goes back to that 42-page document. And this was from Mr. Marcy, who was sitting here for a little while.
The lawyer.
On page 31. And so far, you've spent almost $49,000. And last year, you spent $68,000. And you had the chief of police thought he had signing ability. And I don't believe for 1 second that he didn't go to the city manager, that she didn't know about this. So the whole thing goes back to a forensic audit.
Yep.
State should be in here looking at everything, because this has been going on, people, for almost 2 years. 2 years.
And that's just one of them.
It's a lot of money. And that's taxpayer money. And I'd like to know what is, after almost 2 years, the return on investment. So I don't care that Panama City's doing it, Panama City Beach.
Exactly. Christy McElroy is exactly right. Listen, whether it's a good idea or not is beside the point. That's $100,000 in checks that were signed to Sheriff Tommy Ford's office that he signed the contract with Ramie, illegal contract. Whether it's a good or bad idea is beside the point right now. At the very least, Sheriff Ford should pay restitution and pay the money back to the taxpayers, pay the money back and start over. Sheriff Ford knew that was an illegal contract.
Etc. This is a bad look, and it causes other people in other counties, in other municipalities, to think they can do the same thing. This is a problem. And y'all need to clean your shop up.
Clean your shit up. Shop. Here we go.
Johnny Bashir's 811 Louisiana Avenue.
Now, I'm going to guess. I've only seen this guy make public comments. Here he's going to come and he's going to shine the government's ass. Government, you're so great. Don't listen to the gadflies. Government's great.
I am almost sure that I knew about this cost and about this communication system prior to this coming up right now. I don't know whether it was a line item in the budget or if it's something that I saw somewhere, but I was aware of this. So it's not been hidden in the dark as a few people are saying here. I'm pretty sure I was aware of it It was a communication system to integrate with all the sheriff's department and with the other municipalities to make our response, everything better. So I was somewhat aware of this, I'm sure,
Somewhat.
before this. So whether it was in the budget, I can't tell you if it was a line item in the police department budget, and I'm getting an affirmative that it was. So let's not say it was a secret hidden somewhere. Maybe some signing authority wasn't there, but it seems like I remember the commission approving this item.
What are you talking about? It seems like I'm pretty sure maybe kind of it wasn't. Show us. He was a candidate for office. You know, it's this kind of dishonest stuff it really bothers me. The whole point, Johnny, is it wasn't voted on, and if it was, show us. I'll say, look, it was approved. But if it was approved, then the city manager would have known about it. This is so fun. Look how serious he takes himself. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Look at him.
Back prior to this. But if people want to rewrite history, we need to follow back and go back and look.
Rewrite. This is almost as funny as Jesse Nelson and me. And you know, Jesse cracks me up. He's in that category. He's
and get the correct information and not just innuendo. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait to straighten the record up there, Johnny Bashirs.
All right, any further public commentary?
Oh my God, that was great. I
All
needed
right, we
that.
have a motion on the floor and a second. Mr. Lightfoot.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Commissioner Tender,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peoples.
Yes.
All right. Boy, I want to get out of here, but I wanted you to see that, and I wanted you to really see the analogy I drew. Take a good look at that. Tell me what you think. I'll be looking at the comments in a little bit. Thank you to all of you who are Substack subscribers. But even if you are not a paid subscriber, you got every weekend I send out the weekly newsletter, and it has all the shows, everything in one email, and you don't even have to have Facebook to see the shows. It takes 20 seconds to subscribe for free at bernie.substack.com. Also, of course, I want to thank the Unknown Patriot for your support. And I want to thank those of you who throw a tip in the tip jar as little as $5 a month. It's easy, it's anonymous, and you can quit at any time. And thank you for supporting my efforts. Should I do this too? If you've been wanting to get my attention, I'm sorry, I haven't been getting back to people. I'm really behind. Part of it's being lazy and neglecting, but a lot of it is a lot of behind the scenes stuff I'm working on. That's going to be a big deal. But this is how you can get my full attention. You can book a call at calendly.com/Bernie Thompson. That is super easy, and you will have my undivided attention. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.